You mean like a normal possum?
Right.
Mm,
A possum. Duh.
like a possum.
Sure.
mhm.
All right. We are back to it. And looks like we're good to go. John, it's all back in your hands.
All right. Just before we left, our group has decided to investigate the way station, trying to figure out a way to stop these horrible rifts from opening up. They journeyed there and ran into Zia Rosewood, an elven woman who seemingly is trying to frame human beings for the sabotage on the way station itself. They were able to defeat her in combat and release a human thrall that she was using as part of this blackmailing, and have now ventured to the top floor of the way station where Zia's sister is seemingly waiting for her. As they were beginning to prepare on what their next move would be, the sister standing up top called out, "Why is the human running down the hill?"
I
Uh,
quickly, oh, I quickly grab Garpoon's shoulder and I say, "When I say your name, you and Lealta charge the woman. Hide here till then." And then I want to hold out my hand to Sporesmeyer for him to climb on my shoulder. Come climb.
You gonna be
I
his
do it.
mount? Is that what
Scurry
you're
up.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait here. When I say your name, charge out. Charge. Go full Garpoon, okay? When I say your name.
Go full
Say Garpoon's name. And then I flip up the lapels of my jacket so they're all
The lapels?
the the collar. No, it's not-
Lapels. Lapels.
Lapels.
Hey man, where Baffo is raised, the pronunciations are a bit different.
if you had Lapples, man, I don't know why we sent Lialta to town to get food for horses.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Aw.
I flip up my lapels on my coat. And I stand upright and I walk out all casually and cool like. And I'm like, well, well, well. If it isn't the other Rosewood sister.
She turns slowly and looks at you. Who are you?
Oh, I am Salts. Baffo Salts. And I wait for her acknowledgement to dawn on her. Is it dawning on her?
No.
Am I on his shoulder for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're perched on his shoulder.
You're basically mounted.
I look at her and I'm like, I'm sorry, but your plot against the wild humans here has come to an end. I know all about your plan to blame the malfunction of the way station on the humans, thereby profiting from the purchase of your land in this area. But it is foiled. It is too late. Your sister has been routed. Your human slave, as you can see, is running into the hills. It's over.
My plan is a little more than that, I'm afraid.
Okay, Inspector's Insight. See if I can just intuit what it is.
Okay.
I
Are
don't
you-
know.
I like it.
What are you looking for exactly?
Well, I mean, I want to just intuit, like, if my brain can connect the pieces through my special abilities, because Bo, the person, hasn't figured it all out yet. If that makes sense.
You were, I will tell you this, you were spot on. But if what she's saying currently is true,
So focus on behavior, insight into a person's intentions.
okay. So you start to look in at how she's acting, and as you tell her all this, you see that her reaction reads very coolly. It reads very, oh, that's, a mild inconvenience, but she doesn't seem that concerned. And she says, "So where is Zia then?"
She's a little tied up at the moment.
Aren't you witty?
Indeed. Now turn yourself over to the authorities. Come with me, and there should be no harm to your person.
I'm afraid not. This plan that you have constructed for yourself was Zia's plan. She's been a little short-sighted all her life. I am looking for something a bit more grand than property values, I'm afraid.
Oh. Oh, well, that's intriguing. I'd very much like to hear about a grand plan.
And you shall. You see it. And she kind of gestures out, and when you look out over the horizon, you can see more cracks open, and water pours out of some of them, and some of them just holes seem to form temporarily and then close up. One opens up, and you see a bird fly through it, and that's seemingly all that passes. And she just says, "This is the plan. You've been lied to, and I am going to bring you all truth."
Ah, and what truth would that be? That none of us deserve to live? And then this
Oh.
is... Oh,
Of course you deserve to live. We deserve to live in the real world, Inspector.
but you know we will die. The anathema is lethal.
Lies fed to you. You believe everything in history books. You're so naive.
And what if you're wrong? What is your failsafe?
I know that I'm right. Alter speaks to me.
Do I know who Alter is? Is that on the sheet? Is that a god?
Make a religion check.
Religion check! No, it fell off the desk. All right. 19 plus religion is 20.
All right, you know Altar to be not a traditional religion, but there has been talk lately of groups that seem to worship the barrier itself. They think of the barrier almost in a religious deity-like way. It is considered illegal to worship Altar and be a part of this group in the country because these groups have been linked to criminal activities, terrorist attacks, big cult-like religious activities that have resulted in deaths. There is an element of it that is peaceful, but there is also an element of it that has turned violent, and so it is not well received, and they kind of operate like a cult.
I apologize, madam. What is your name, so that I may refer to you by a proper name?
My name is Syndra Rosewood.
Well, I apologize, my dear Syndra, but you've overlooked one thing. I understand that you've wanted to conduct your experiment outside the strictures and bureaucrats of the city who have no imagination. I respect your desire to push forward where others are too cowardly to do so. But you've done so in a place where innocents may get harmed, without their permission or knowledge. And as such, your intentions are suspect. And I believe you must be garpooned.
What?
And then Lealta will tap Garpoon's back very wildly. That's the signal.
Oi! All right. And I always want to hear "oi!" and then a big shadow comes clumbering out the door, running forward.
Yep.
And the second you yell "oi," everybody roll initiative.
All right.
Oh, and part of it, I wanted to look at the possum and go, "Fly, you possum!" And I sort of lean so that he can leap off my shoulder and do whatever possums do to attack.
Okay.
19.
All right, that's a 19 for Garpoon,
21.
21 for Baffo,
15.
15 for Lealta,
17.
and a 17 for Spores. So let me go ahead and just get this in order here. And we'll roll for Syndra. Does she have any plus to her initiative? I don't think she does. Okay. All right, Baffo, you are the first to act. Just to give you a lay of the battlefield a little bit, there is kind of a small little structure that basically acts as just as a doorway that the stairway leads up to, that takes up about 5 feet on the roof, so you would have to come through single file. You have now passed through that. You are you're about 15 feet away from her. She's standing near but not at the edge of the building. Overall, the rooftop is a giant square, and there is a large square structure in the middle of it with a about 10-foot wide door in the middle. That's the room that Hemshaw was referring to that he needed to get to start his repairs. So in theory, if you moved around that, you could break line of sight. You've got about 30 feet on all sides of movement around it.
Well, for my first action, what I want to do is I'm going to retcon what I said a little bit, and I'm going to take Sporesmeyer into my hand, and I'm going to throw Sporesmeyer at at the. Wait, I'm going to ready the action to throw Sporesmeyer at the start of his turn. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I want him to be ready to go, and I'm going to allow him. So yeah. So I pick him up and I wind up with the possum in my hand, and I'm going to back up enough so that I'm in range to throw, but not out of range, I suppose, for the throw distance. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. And that'll be my turn.
We'll say you put about 30 feet between you and her.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll wait till the stop of his turn to throw him at what's her name? Cynthia? Syndra?
Syndra.
Syndra. All right, that's my turn.
All right, so that is going to make it her turn, and she is going to...
Oh, maybe I should have thrown him. Garpoon, yell real loud. Distract her. Don't let her attack me.
I need Baffo to make a wisdom save.
Oh, that's good, actually. Wisdom is
You got high
a
wisdom.
specialty of mine. Oh, no. 5.
All right, so Syndra turns and looks at you and just says, kneel. And all of a sudden, your legs buckle, and you find yourself down on your knees.
Am I still in control of my throwing arm?
Give me just one moment. Let me just read exactly how the spell works. I don't want to tell you wrong.
So, a chat room says the difference between John and my character names is that I would have called her Syndra Shitpants.
Yeah, Cinder shit pants.
That's not necessarily untrue.
Jim Leahy
that's fine.
thing.
I'd have changed it
has-
a little bit. I'd call it Shiptants.
Chip dance. Nailed it.
Shiptants. It's like past tense, but Shiptants.
Okay, so yeah, you are considered... We'll say you're considered prone to some degree. You're not. You're just knelt, but you will have to burn some of your movement standing
For sure.
at the beginning of your next turn.
For sure.
But
I'm not mind controlled or charmed.
no, you
Okay.
just felt compelled to
I
follow
kneel,
her.
and my face is mad. I'm like, I'm just hating the kneeling so much. This is worse than being attacked, honestly. It's humiliating.
And then she is going to use a bonus action, and you see her kind of move her hands, and you see a slight glow pulse around her. Not exactly sure what it does, but there seems to be a faint glow just around her body, and magical in nature.
All right.
And she takes one more step forward, but holds there and seems to ready herself. Garpoon, you are up next.
I go, well, look what we got here. It's the Garpoon Sibling Olympics. Oi! And I go running toward her.
Oh, yeah, he's still got Zia on his.
Yeah, by the way, I flipped her off as I go. Just tossed her
Okay.
into the wind.
You can use her as a club, you know.
Nah, I'm not going to hit her with it.
All right, you can
Although
just spin around and
that's
whirlwind
not
like a
bad.
barbarian with Zia in your hands. just a suggestion.
That almost feels like a thing I should do, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to slough her off. Got both axes at the ready. I'm going to charge, and I'm going to attack with my dual weapons.
Okay.
To start things off, toe to toe. To hit, we are looking at 22 and
hits.
Did you prefer that, then damage, and then hit, and then damage again? Like as two separate
let's
actions?
find out if they hit first.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and roll both attacks, and then we'll figure out damage.
No problem. Okay, second attack is a 18. That still hit?
Yes, it does.
All right. First blade damage will be. Let's see, what is it? +3? I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
+3.
+3.
So that'll be 6 for the first.
Okay.
And 7 for the second.
Jeez.
Shing
Look at
shing.
you.
Yeah. Double whammy, baby.
All right, so Garpoon he shrugs the off his back, runs forward, brings the first axe down, and you get a sense of what the magic spell she cast was, because you see the magic rush up, sensing his axe coming down, and start to push against the axe blade as it flies in towards her, and he just and pushes through it, and you just see the magic snap and the blade sink into her. And she falls back from that, and he brings the other axe in, and same deal, the magic fights against it, but he just pushes through it with another roar and gives her another cut. And those are pretty strong attacks right out of the gate. I apparently need to make my character stronger when fighting you guys. So
I mean, it's Garpoon. Garpoon literally destroys everything somehow.
He's awesome.
Next up is Spores. Go ahead.
Oh, trigger my action.
Oh yeah. So
I'm kneeling and I'm mad, but I'm just like in all my anger, I just take him and I throw him as hard as I can at her, and I like to picture him flying through the air with his tongue like flying out of the side. He's like flying through the air. So you're now flying through the air at the start of your turn towards.
Well, first we gotta see how good the throw is. So
Okay.
go ahead and roll an athletics check at disadvantage, because you were anticipating being standing and you are kneeling instead.
Oh no! I'm gonna throw him off the roof. A 19 and a 3, and I'm
jeez.
-1 to athletics, so it's a 2.
Ooh.
So you chuck him, and
Thanks, John.
it
To the
does
ground.
not it does not go anywhere. She's about 30 feet from you, and he goes about 10 feet and just.
Okay, so I throw like this, but you throw like that, and the ball just doesn't go anywhere. So I throw you about 10 feet ahead, and you just sort of land on the ground.
Yeah, I we'll say 15. We'll say it's about halfway. You just and you throw, and this little possum just goes thump about halfway between you, and she just kind of looks down at it and looks back at you.
All right, I will break the possum form on my back and kind of, and then crawl my legs around, staying on my back, and point a hand at her and go, "Don't heal," and cast Chill Touch at range.
Ooh. Chill touch. Is that a save or an attack roll?
Is an attack roll a magical ranged touch attack
Okay.
with a 14.
That is going to. Hold on. Let me just check the armor here. That does not make it through her new armor.
Okay.
So you say don't heal, and you see a little cloud of spores come out, and moisture seems to be drawn towards it until it looks literally like a hand moving through the air. And this does meet that same magical energy, and it just stops. And then you see the spores break apart, and it just looks like a little plop of snow down at her feet.
All right. I will remain prone with my arm out,
Okay.
having been possum winded upon the ground.
Sorry.
It's all good.
All right. At that point, there is going to be a crackle of energy, and all of a sudden, 3 rifts pop open,
Uh-oh.
and water is going to shoot out from the rifts, knocking you all in directions. Now, the only ones out on the roof at this point, Lialta has not come up, so she is still in the doorway, so she is safe. We are going to say Garpoon, her, and Baffo are going to have to make dexterity saves.
Dexterity.
Baffo, you are at disadvantage because you were on your knees.
Oh, am I in it?
No, they aren't aimed at you. There's only 3 of them.
Is it dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
14.
So my low roll was 11 plus 5 is 16.
Okay. So these crack open and just a torrent of water shoots out. And Baffo, it's a little high to you, so you just kind of duck and it shoots over your head. Garpoon, you just sort of get hit by it and it just kind of makes you go, mm. It's just an annoyance. You just stand there and whatever, it's a bit of water. And for her, however, one opens and hits her from behind, and she is knocked forward. She is now also prone in front of Garpoon from a blast of water. Lialta, it is your turn.
Okay, seeing that she's using magic... Now, she's Fae, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so she counts as Fae, and I figure Garpoon will probably be taking the hits. We also will go, I've got something for this. I can do this. And then she'll run up really quickly to Garpoon and touch his back with her hands. And you glow for a little bit, Garpoon, but as long as I'm concentrating for up to 10 minutes, you now are protected against damage from Fae creatures.
Oh, nice.
Disadvantage on attack rolls against you, and you also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed.
Nice. I yell, "You touch Garpoon!" in the back.
God damn it. We're not taking him to a brothel ever.
All right, awesome. Love it.
All right, that takes us back to Baffo.
All right, so I'm on my knees. I ducked water, and she's prone.
She's prone.
Can I get to her? And she's at disadvantage because she's on the ground. Is that right? When you're prone?
Yeah. So basically, what would happen is you can get to her even with your limited movement. Although,
I mean, if I have to, I can use feline.
You would have
agility.
to burn feline agility, but you can get to her. And
Okay.
being prone, you would have advantage on attack rolls against her.
Right. Would I have advantage on grapple rolls? Is that a type of attack? Probably not, right?
I mean, she would be easier to
All right.
grapple.
I think I'm just gonna do 2 attacks. So I will feline agility. I'll duck underneath. I'll get up, bad, and I'll just hoof it. Just running with my lapels just flailing in the wind as I can't run towards it, and then like I slide on the water, and grab onto the back of her, back of whatever clothes she has, and I just take my claws out and I frink right into her neck for some advantageous attacks.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Jeez. All right.
Jeez.
It's gonna hurt.
So
Bueno.
Oh,
Roll.
sorry. Hang on. What?
roll double your damage dice. Let's get the crit taken care of.
So it's a 1d4. So it's just 2 1d4s. So 4. Yes.
Okay.
1. Boo. And then +3. 5 + 3 is 8. And then my sneak attack dice is 5. So what was all that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13. And then I can do a second attack.
All right. You also have advantage on this attack.
Yep, so 13 + 5 is 18. And this is just a d4. 2.
But you still get your +3. Oh no, you don't.
No,
That's
no,
right.
because I don't have dual wielder. So,
Okay.
it's just I grab her. It's non-lethal, and I just take her with the claws, but still I'm not trying to puncture jugular. I just go pow, pow again, just rifling her. Just submit, and yeah, that's my turn.
All right. So it is now her turn, and she is going to stand up, and she is going to reach out and try to touch and cast Inflict Wounds on Baffo, who just assaulted her. So that is going to be...
That word makes me feel bad.
Inflict wound.
I feel like there's 4 of us assaulting a woman.
Hey, she started it.
I know, she's a bad
She
guy.
didn't want to get assaulted. She shouldn't have started opening rifts.
That's right.
That is going to be a 13 to hit.
That's my AC, so it's a hit.
Ooh, okay.
She's going to inflict wounds upon my person.
She is going to inflict some wounds upon your person here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez. That's not that bad. You take 10 points of damage.
It's not that bad. That's over 50% of my HP.
Well, let me tell you, it could have been a lot worse.
All right.
It looked a lot worse because I rolled percentage dice too, so I looked at it and was like, oh, he's dead.
So inflict wounds is just she magically sort of puts her hand at me and all of a sudden wounds open up on my body?
So what you see is you've just stabbed her and she has just turned her head and reached up and just put her hand on your chest as she's standing. And all of a sudden you just hear tearing and shredding. And you just see blood start to ooze between her fingers and down your fur, and you just become sleek and wet with blood as she stands up.
My shirt! I liked this shirt.
And that's going to be it for her. So she has stood up and done that. That makes Garpoon. It is your turn.
All right. I'm still directly in... Is she still down? Is she prone still? Or no?
No,
she stood up.
She stood up.
Okay.
She ruined my shirt, the Garpoon.
Is she physically on him, so she's a distance from me now? I'm trying to picture it visually.
Yeah, she is directly in front of you, and then Baffo is to the right of her.
Okay. How many feet away from me?
She's right in front of you.
Right in front of me. So I can do
Yeah.
a swinging... Like, I can hurt her with my normal stuff.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I'm going to do then. Similar to last time, I'm going to do dual wield damage here. First one's going to be a... Hold on. I got out of my stuff. Why? There we go. +5, so that's 14 to hit on the first one.
That is going to miss.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right. Second hit is a 17.
That does hit.
All right, so I whiff the first swing. Second hit. Let's do damage. That's gonna be... Ooh, nice. So what's that? 5 plus 3, so that's... 5 plus 3, that's 7. Say 8. 8. I have a hard time with 8 for some reason. 8. This is the same as last time. 8 damage.
All right. So your first swing, she ducks and dodges out of it, but you catch her with the second. It's a solid hit. She lets out another yell. She is looking very hurt at the moment, and that brings us to Spores.
All right. Is our repairman up on the roof?
Oh, you know what? I forgot his turn altogether. So I'm going to give him his turn real quick, and he might do a little bit more than you might expect because he was supposed to go twice now. So our man Hemshaw has kind of made his way out and has run across and opened up the double doors and is starting to go inside. At this moment, he is in the doorway going into where he needs to be to repair the facility.
Excellent. All right, I will gather myself up, which takes what, half my movement?
Yes.
Yep.
And I will run forward until I'm in 10 range of her and bring my cupped hand around under and slap the top of it. Your plan is pure weevil, and shoot bugs.
Did you say weevil?
Weevil!
All
At her.
right.
You make Garpoon laugh!
I love the detail on the... This,
It was a 10 to save. I think that's too low, right?
Yep, 13 is the cutoff.
Okay, you do your buggy damage.
All right, I hit her for 5 points of poison damage, and she must run 5 feet east.
how
All
close
right.
is the ledge to her?
Does it say anything about opportunity attacks?
Does not provoke opportunity attacks.
Okay, so she
Yeah, forced movement usually doesn't. only
she
intimidating.
all of a sudden you see the spray of bugs land over. It kind of arcs over the two of you based on where Spores is, and she moves just off to the side from all of you, kind of back away. She's a little closer to the ledge. She's still about 25 feet away from it, but just a heads up, and closer to the ledge there. That is. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. Are you done with your turn?
Do I maintain within 10 feet of her?
Hold on. Let me think about where you would be, where she would be. Yeah, I think you are.
Cool. Then I will maintain my position.
Okay. All right. More rifts are going to open up. The entire platform shakes violently, and you just hear, and 6 rifts open up. Everyone needs to make a dexterity save check.
21.
1.
5.
20.
Kyle, was yours 5?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
While you figure stuff out, can I ask Kyle, eventually with this character, could you make an army of bugs that you can stand on and have them move you around? Is that?
Oh, that'd be pretty sick. I don't know. I haven't gone deep into druid spells.
That would be. I just had this vision of you not walking, but when you moved around, it was like a little mass of bugs under you that carried you where you needed
Oh,
to.
that'd be the best. Like someone pushes me down, I go and fall on my side, but then just kind of slide to safety, and kind of wiggle up, climb into a house, and leave.
Yeah, exactly. This needs to be a thing for real.
All right. So as these portals open and more torrents of water seem to rush through it, most of you are able to dodge it. Oddly enough, she's the one who wanted this to happen, and she keeps getting pegged by it, but she gets blasted by a shot of water that knocks her backwards a little further from the ledge. Unfortunately, Kyle, she is now outside of the 10 feet.
Okay.
She's now about 20 feet away from the edge. Lialta, you are knocked forward by one you didn't realize was even behind you, and you are knocked prone.
Okay.
So you fall kind of flat on your face. And oh, you know what, Kyle? You're fine, because you got pushed the same direction, because you actually get hit and knocked forward as well. So
All right.
you've kind of done the full shift forward along with her. And that is going to bring us to Lialta's turn. So you are currently prone and covered in seawater.
I'm coughing up the seawater, but I'll hold up my holy symbol. Be healed, Bafo! With my eyes shut, so I'm trying to. So it's just
That's awesome.
some radiance, and you get max of 8 HP back.
8 hitch points. Perfect. I'm topped up. Hitch points.
Hitch points.
Hitch points.
Yeah. Use that
Sold
with a
me a car
talking
with
horse.
those.
That's my turn.
All right, that brings us back to Bafo.
How far am I from Cynthia or Syndra?
She's about 5 feet away from you.
All right, I'm going to. Did she get hit with the water? She did, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
I want to just grab her by her clothes, grapple her.
All right, make
I'm gonna
a
walk up and grapple her. It's
make
got to be
a
strength for me.
check. Yep.
12.
12. Let's see what her highest is. It's Dex. Natural 1. You grabbed her.
All right, I just grab her. It's time for this to end, and I pick her up. Now I've used 5 feet to walk to. It's not difficult terrain yet for me, right?
No.
Okay, so then I'm going. Now it's movement. I think when you have someone grappled is half speed.
Correct.
So I'm gonna 20 feet towards the ledge.
Yep.
dash action to double my 30 feet to 60 feet. Or
Okay.
yeah, I get 60 feet. So now I've got 55 remaining. And I want to walk her right up to the ledge and hang her off of it. And I'm dangling her above it. And I say, "End
Okay,
this now."
so I'm gonna say that in order, so the grapple, we're gonna call that an action because that's the grapple action. She's obviously gonna fight being held over an edge, and that struggle to push her over the edge is going to be, we're gonna call it another grapple because it's gonna be another contest to see if she can break free before you hold her out over the edge. So that will have to wait until next.
I guess I can lean her up on the ledge. But
Right.
I'm using all my movement so that we're grappled next to the ledge, so that someone else can knock her off, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna be able to drop her over. I think you're right about that. So okay, but I move her right up to the ledge, and I'm up the ledge too. And there's rifts all around me, open, just squirts of water just everywhere, and I'm just holding her there. And then I picture lightning striking. All right. Anyways, that's my turn.
All right, she's going to look at you, and let's see here. She's gonna look at you, and she's gonna say, "No thanks." Make a wisdom saving throw.
Come on, I got a good modifier. Just roll good, roll big. Lealta, help me! 14 plus 3 is 17.
Oh, all right. You saved, and you feel magic creep into you that suddenly tenses your muscles and makes you unable to move at all. And you just sort of shake your head, and then you just feel the magic break, and you're still in control of your body.
This is Kylo Ren and Rey like on the ledge, just with the two lightsabers, and me and her just like. "Argh."
Yeah. And I think that's all she's gonna have to do. So that brings us to Garpoon. You're about 30 feet away from her. She's right at the edge of a ledge, being held onto by Baffo, grappled with him.
All right. I'm going to. I have to dash if I want to get there, don't I?
No, you can use your movement to get there. It's just 30 feet.
All right. I'm gonna rush up there and go, "With me, kitty." I'm gonna rush up there and I'm going to grab her also, so that it's two of us
Okay.
trying to chuck her out of there.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's another grapple. What is that for me to do that?
Let's say, go ahead and make a grapple check. Let's just see how this goes.
Okay,
Make a strength check, I should say.
strength check. Ooh, yeah, I like a strength check. All right, here we go. Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
22.
All right. Let me ask you this,
Hmm.
because she rolled very poorly and you rolled very well.
Ooh.
Would Garpoon be throwing her off the tower?
Hell's yeah, he would.
All right. So, do you want to describe how Garpoon runs up and removes Syndra from the top of this building?
Yes, I'm going to charge up. Actually, I'm going to take my here we go. I'm going to take my axes and I'm going to throw them in the mud. Thunk, thunk. Okay.
It's a building.
Or
but
the
yes.
sorry, into the.
There's mud off the side.
Yeah,
Why
but
don't you
there's-
chuck them way over to the...
But there's been like mud and water and all kinds of shit everywhere. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw them into the ground and they're going to go thunk, thunk. I assume it's made of wood, so they'll stay.
It's metal, but they do anyway.
All right. And I'm gonna yell, "It's never too soon for Garpoon!" And I'm gonna run as hard and fast. I'm gonna rip her out of Bo's hands, or out of Baffo's hands. Just yank her out and toss her just like a big freaking crash test dummy, flipping end over end into the air. Just,
Just like...
so she just looks like a gorilla who got flung off of a trebuchet or something.
Donald Duck or Goofy flying off the side of a cliff or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I want her just to go flying as far as I can chuck her to ensure her death.
All right. You throw her, and she goes flailing over the edge, It's such a strong throw. She says something, but nobody hears it. She's already too far off the side, and she just plummets down. She goes not even on the path on the way down. She goes over the edge of the cliff even further and just disappears from sight. You don't even hear a thud.
Uh-oh.
Pretty sure we killed her, right?
We have to go find it. I look at the cat and go, "Good job, kitty," and I pat him on the head and I walk the other way. I walk toward my axes.
I'm pissed. I didn't like that at all. Like there's water raining down on me, and my dignity is damaged completely.
So you hear a call from Hemshaw. If you're all done, I could use a hand in here.
I've done this
Yes.
before. And I'll run over there. I have 2 hands.
And so you go in. You have helped Hemshaw, not Hemshaw, but have helped an engineer repair this facility before, and you kind of assist and hold things and press against things when needed. And he hands you a couple wires, and you hold on to them. You don't understand any of what you're doing, but you understand deep down that it's ultimately very important. And I'd say probably within the next 5-10 minutes, all of a sudden, the crackling energy in the air dissipates, and you hear the hum again. And everything now sounds like it's moving smoothly and evens out.
That sound is good, right?
I think so.
Hemshaw kind of wipes his brow and comes out and... Okay, it's fixed. That should do it.
Garpoon, secure Zia.
Oi. I run down I go get her, put her on my shoulder again. Coax Lucy out, give her a pinch of cheese. She goes away.
Oh.
Okay. So, is there anything you want to do before heading back down to town?
Find the body.
Okay, so you make a point on your way leaving to go down the edge of the cliff, and you do find the body of Syndra. She's real beat up. It was a real bad fall. It's not a pretty sight, but she definitely is dead.
And
They say, but she's definitely okay. It sounded like, wasn't it pretty safe? Like, oh.
is the lady on my back? Is she also confirmed dead?
No, she's still alive. She's breathing.
I think she's unconscious.
Yeah,
she's still unconscious.
All right, I'm going to say as we're standing over the confirmed kill, I'm going to say, any reason we need to keep this one? We could leave her here. Let the sisters rot in hell.
First thing I'd say is, suppose you need to put the mushrooms in this one's nose to balance life and death and all that.
This was a nasty death, yes. She'd come back with much hate. Probably hates us from the other side anyway. So let's limit her ability to do so. And I start, gathering up around my skin the spores and spreading them on her. And, well, she'll rot nicely.
Oh. Okay.
I'm like, your work here, Sposma, is fascinating.
Thanks.
I should like to see your laboratory.
It's called a cave.
Well, I'll have to come visit your cave once the work's done here. Perhaps there's some I can learn about your manner of decomposition.
I'm heading there anyway to check on our friend.
We should turn in Zia to the
Neko.
authorities, and we have some money to collect for our work.
Your druid ways are new to me.
Did
I
you?
bet.
Wait, all of us here are here to collect gold from the successful completion of our mission.
Yes.
Sure.
But Sposma does not get any. We should give him some.
A personal favor to Waldo, huh?
To Waldo?
Where's Waldo?
Waldo lives in the human village, and he's real nice.
There's
Oh.
Waldo.
And I knew his grandpa, but it wasn't his grandpa.
That doesn't make sense.
You're talking in
Neither-
riddles,
It,
nature boy.
they gave me the backpack.
Right, so is that you saying you don't want any gold?
I will be paid by the town, and goods and whatever they can spare.
Well, if we do have business in the city, but I would definitely come to your cave post haste to see your laboratory. Do you have directions? Where are you from the Gnarls?
And I'll lean over and whisper directions to my cave to
Perfect. Then
Baffo.
I make a note in my notebook, and well, it was a pleasure working with you in your unusual ways. I look forward to learning more. And I hold out a paw.
And I'll clasp in both hands and give it a vigorous shaking, and I'll move to the next hand in range.
DM, do I have any bugs on
That'd
my
be
hand
me.
from the handshake?
Make an investigation check.
9 plus 5, I think. 3, 11, 12. 12.
You see one make a hop over, but it can be knocked aside pretty easily.
Okay, I get it out of there. I start scratching my claws and walking away.
Okay, good call. So you begin to kind of, as this is all happening, make your way back towards the town, down away from the way station, which continues to hum, functioning properly as it should. And by the time you get to the town itself, you see a gathering of people heading towards you. You recognize the elder among them, as well as the guard, Takuri, and a couple other villagers, a couple humans, as well as the human that you had helped out, Nico, and had sent running. Seems he had.
It's a few too many people for my liking, and I will cat form and just start trotting off.
Okay, you're gonna walk away from everybody, slink
Yeah.
off from everyone. All right, so go ahead and roll a stealth check. See if you were noticed.
9.
Okay, so they are all approaching, and they do see Spores trying to slink off on his own, and Spores, as you're leaving, all of a sudden you hear a voice. No, Spores, don't. And it's Waldo Warren is one of the people among there, trying to catch your attention.
I'll give a big, slow turnaround and kind of against my paw start walking that way.
And they kind of gather you up and they go, it's repaired. And the elder walks up. She's nodding and she gestures towards Zia. Is this the one that's responsible then?
Yes, her and her sister Syndra. Syndra met an unfortunate fate at the hands of Garpoon, as he likes to be called.
It's my name.
We gave her a chance. I told her to stand down. She did not. So I unleashed the Garpoon upon her.
She said our history was a bunch of lies or something, too.
Well, she's always been a little weird, to say the very least. It's beyond words what you've done here today. And she looks at the cat that she's now heard called Spores, and she kind of kneels down. And you, I know you are a human, and I know you are unbranded, but you have a place here in Common's Rest whenever you need. You are not someone who should be hiding. You are a hero to us.
I'll unfold out of the cat form and unexpected.
And she looks at you all and she says, there are a couple things we need to decide what to do. And at that point, the Genasi that you had been fighting with steps forward, and she walks up and says, there's a chance that maybe I misjudged you all. You
Yes.
you definitely have fixed things here. Hopefully it remains such, but
If there
what
was
do you
one,
think? What do you think should happen She keeps looking at Baffo, who keeps talking. What do you think should happen with the other humans? These
Don't
new
brand
ones.
them.
Just let them live here peacefully. They mean no harm.
They've
Supposedly the
proved their
elder-
worth. No need to brand those who prove their worth.
And the elder speaks up and she says, "This is a very dangerous proposition. These people are from beyond the barrier. That means that they are considered flux. They are illegal here.
Well,
I have no problem letting them continue to live in the Gnarls or moving to Common's Rest if they so choose. But if word of this ever gets to the capital, or maybe even Serifax, people will come, and many people will die. It is important we keep this secret."
They saved your arse. I think you can trust them to keep it to themselves.
And the Genasi looks around and says, "I have been wrong about many things. I could be wrong about this. I
Yes.
will keep it a secret. I won't say anything."
Then it is agreed.
Right.
"And what do we do with this one?" She gestures towards Zia. "I would have you decide what to do with her."
They did try to plot to not only harm unbranded humans, but everyone in Commoner's Rest. So we can still keep this secret and yet bring her to judgment for tampering with the way station with the intention to do harm. No one will believe her stories about the humans. It was her excuse and her lie. So we can just say that it was a lie and that her sister, wanted to had a belief that the way state the fact that the way stations would kill us was a lie, and wanted to prove it by actually doing it and without going through proper experimentation or authorities to do it. So really, we can just ignore that part of it, and I'm pretty sure we can get her put in one of the prisons for quite a long time, so that she can't cause any more trouble. I fear if she's left free, she will continue to plot against the community here.
"And what of you, Ford? Is it your intention to return to Serifax?"
I'd like gold.
Where's Grizz?
"He's back in Serifax at the
Our
moment."
first order of business will be to return to Grizz and collect our earnings, and then, Lealta has agreed to be my new assistant, so I'm sure there are more people that require help in the world, and she and I will find out what other mysteries there are in Arivia that require our unique brand of attention. And I'm fairly certain wherever Lealta will go, Garpoon will be 2 inches behind her, guarding her.
Yeah, we'll decide what we do with you and the girl when we get there.
"Very good. Then you don't mind being the escorts for Zia back to Serifax to face judgment?"
Garpoon, we can handle this, right?
She can strap to the back of a horse as well as any other animal.
What was
And
it trying?
the Genasi steps forward and says, "I would have no problem taking her back if you would prefer to be free to do other things or take your time."
No.
No, we're headed. You can journey with us if you wish. Once enemies, now friends.
And she
And
nods her head and she puts her hand out and she says, "My name is Sashal Meadows. Pleased to meet you."
Sashal.
Sashal.
And I'll shake her hand and I'll make a show of my tail while I do it.
Okay.
A very subtle, flirtatious indication. Subtle.
Oh, look at Baffo flirting. Every campaign, Baffo's flirting.
It's like when a cat puts his butthole in your face. Is it like that?
Exactly.
It's not unlike that.
All right.
Waft that scent.
And the dwarf Madeline steps forward and she says, "Well, hell, you're not going till tomorrow anyway. why don't you all have a room back at my place? It's on the house. We'll take care of y'all.
I don't think Garpoon would wish to stay there unless you had some meat instead of cabbage soup.
Well, as it just so happens, I have it on good authority that our supply caravan is due in this evening. So, if there's any reason to celebrate, this is it. And
Garpoon, what say you?
I'm happy to stay if we can get food, rest, and meat.
And meat. Okay.
They need to meet Garpoon.
That's
spelled with an A.
Yeah.
To anybody who might look confused among the townsfolk, I just say that means he's happy with the arrangement.
all right. So, in order, we are at about time. So, in order to sort of move things along, we're going to kind of jump through this unless there's anything anybody else feels like they should strongly be doing at this particular moment.
Negative.
All right.
Yeah.
So, just to kind of close out the story and let you know the fate of our companions here, that evening, a caravan does in fact come into town, and Madeline informs you that typically, it's very difficult to get supplies out in the Badlands. The capital doesn't, and even Serifax, for as rich of a town as it is, doesn't put up the escorts to bring it through. So frequently supplies that go through are robbed and taken away. But there is a group of adventurers, several groups actually, that have stepped forward willing to guide these caravans to these outer towns and help assure supplies continue through the trade routes. And you watch as one rolls in and pulls up, and there's a tiefling guiding the cart, kind of brings it in and pulls up, and you see Madeline go walking out, and she puts her hands up, and you see a big old keg of mead get dropped onto one of her shoulders, and a weight, and then she kind of just ushers like, come on, and you see another hand drop down as this lizard folk in the back just one hands a barrel onto her shoulders. She goes carrying it back into the inn, and supplies are there. There's meat for Garpoon. And generally speaking, it's a celebration. There is a somber element because they have tried to bring as many of these humans from this calamity down in the Gnarls up into town to kind of familiarize them with the area and what's going on. And so there's a somber quality because there are people who have been separated from their families, either through loss of life or, the rift separated one side on one side on the other. And but you all are celebrated as heroes who have helped assure the safety of the town and are welcomed. And as you are getting ready to, that night, you've kind of finished your celebrations and you gather, and the cart that brought in the supplies pulls up alongside of you. And right now, at the particular moment, it's this fancy-looking goblin that's pushing the cart forward. He's got a little top hat crooked to the side, and he's just kind of... And 4 adventurers step out from behind the cart and look at you. And the first walks up to you and says, well, you all did a fine job. We... coming into town just behind you, and seems like this place wouldn't even be here if it weren't for you. By the way, sorry, I'm not being very polite. Name's Dion Tollings. Happy to make your acquaintance. And he gestures towards his companions, and you look, and one is a tiefling, and he gestures towards her and says, this here is Faith. And another man comes up, and he's shrouded all in black, glowing red eyes beneath the cowl. And he goes to introduce him, and that guy steps forward and says, I'll introduce myself. My name's Nah Haggard of Lunar Mountain. And the lizard folk that you saw helping unload earlier comes walking up, and Dion gestures and says, "And this here is Nur," and the lizard folk just kind of gives a polite nod and says, we've been doing this for a while, and it sounds like you did a fine job today. Turns out you might give us a run for our money someday if you keep it up. You all should be proud of yourselves. But I got a note here for Engineer Hemshaw. Hemshaw kind of comes forward, takes the note and looks at it, and he says, "Oh, it's from Grizz. Says he's waiting for you back in Serifax. Hopes everything went well. Is looking forward to giving you all your pay. But I'm to continue on with these fellows. They're going to take me up north. Apparently there's another problem that needs seeing to for me. And
be careful. They look kind of sketchy.
I don't trust that Diane Tallings.
I assure you it's
Garpoon, is there somebody here you don't trust either?
I barely trust you, cat.
Come on. We've had some friendship. You said I was a good cat and patted me on my head.
I was one step greater than before.
But is there someone in that party you don't trust?
The tall one in the black hood.
That's my thought too.
Hey,
he
look,
looks at you and he says, "Well, I don't really trust you either."
I could
And,
Have a heart, nah.
I could cut you into 4 pieces right now, you rancid piece of shite.
And you see Dion put his hands up. All right. We're all friends here. Now, maybe we've had a little bit to drink, but no need to be fighting with one another. We're all in the same line of work, and we're going to go ahead and get on our way. And all these strangers seem to go and get back up on the cart. This time, the lizard folk takes a seat next to the goblin and takes the reins. And he says, "Come, Kabak, let's go." And shakes the reins, and the little goblin kind of gives a little cheer, and the horses start to pull forward.
Is the goblin jacking it?
This goblin's a lot fancier than other goblins we made.
He's got a top hat.
That's the opposite of jacking it. Top hats.
So, as the 4 of you watch...
Yeah, the opposite of jacking it is top hats. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, you get dressed up.
Yeah.
And then you
So,
jack it.
as the 4 of you watch this strange group of adventurers depart the town, you feel a strange sense of kinship to them. Seemingly odd individuals who have come together for the aid of others and have seemingly become something greater. Taking a moment to look at yourselves, you see that in many ways you are the same. Some from wealth and power, others from quiet isolation. In pursuit of finding yourself, truth, justice, or even simply coin, you all came together on this day and changed things. The Genasi you fought, Sashal Meadows, has now perhaps become a little more open-minded as to the way the world actually works. The Gnarls is now home to a huge human refuge where people will be able to exist unbranded without having to fear for the law, at least for now. Syndra Rosewood is dead, and her brother sister Zia, is on her way to face justice. The way station has been restored, and the town of Commons Rest is now celebratory, and seems to be like maybe it's going to grow into something a little more substantial. As you reflect on this, Madeline Shinetop approaches you, lets you know that your rooms are ready. You can turn in for the night. There's still at least one journey back to Serifax for your group. As you prepare for that, you give one last look to the horizon. Those strange travelers, you wonder what's next for them as well. Likewise, what might be next for you.
Does Madeline
And
meet?
that's
Wait, before you do the final.
No, it's over, Bo.
I want to know if Madeline meets Garpoon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you think there's a little something there, do you?
Oh.
She might have misinterpreted meeting Garpoon as meeting something else.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your ending, but I was really excited to know.
No, let John say it again.
All right. Rewind before Bo just wanted to find out if anybody got laid.
Did I get right?
No, definitely not.
D&D.
Those strange travelers and wonder what might be next to them, and likewise, what might be next for you. The end.
The end! Fantastic. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it. It was so good, John. You killed it. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah. The whole town.
Well done,
Let's see.
Garfield.
Actually, I can get the whole town to cheer for you. Hold on. Here we go. There they go. They're all like, the great
That's the noise the
storyteller.
town's making when Garpoon's meeting
Yeah, when I'm meeting
Madeline, and the whole house just hears, "I am Garpoon!
Oh,
Oi, you touched Garpoon!" And everyone's just like, "Yeah, buddy."
Everyone's high-fiving outside the door.
I hope we get to return to that world someday because I love these characters and they're awesome. Well done, everybody. Now, here's the important thing. Next week, right here at this self-same live channel and podcast after and everywhere you get the show, we launch into what will be phase 2 or year 2, I guess, of our Dragon Engine campaign. We catch up with Varel and Hope and Stanley and Nash and possibly Diane Tallis and find out what they're up to.
3 months later.
3 months later, where they've been. The more, maybe not more important than that, but something else is happening next week, and so I just want to tease it. We're going to launch some cool stuff next week. That's all I'll say about it. Some rad ways that you can not only support the show, but get cool stuff from us, and I'm very excited about it. We've been working hard on it, and we'll have it ready for next Saturday's session of There Will Be Dungeons. For now, go to therewillbedungeons.com. You can leave us a message and say whatever you want. You have comments about this 2-part one-off, we'd love to hear it. If you have comments
I have a comment.
Oh, what's your comment? Yes, please.
Nice job, John. Thank you for DMing.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you
Yes.
all
It was
for
really-
joining me on this fun little journey.
It was really good.
It was a blast. I love these characters.
Yeah,
They're great.
They're pretty great, and you did a really good job. I like I say, I hope we return to these someday in some fashion because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Some more crossover would be cool too, and I love the ending, except for the meat part. Anyway, hey, well done. It was awesome across the board. We'll be back next week with a bunch of new surprises and the beginning of the next chapter of the lives of our favorite heroes in There Will Be Dungeons. Again, therewillbedungeons.com is where you'll go for now. Until next week, we'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
You okay, Bo? Everything all right over there?
I was listening to that sound and I pictured that being Spores Myers. That's what his cave sounds like. It just started making me laugh. Like, anyways.
Sporesmeyer is the most like just dust covered, nasty, black mold looking dude. I have the biggest picture in my head of your character. Need to just
he's-
draw him.
Everyone's character's super